It's the Lakers in a Western Conference matchup. This is Kevin Harlan here to call the action. With me, Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg. Thrilled to be back in Oklahoma City. The Thunder ready for that home court advantage. Well, compared to last season, you'd have to say the start to this season has not been quite what you'd expect. They hope to improve their record with the win tonight, certainly.
Now, they're probably not too thrilled with having to face this team again because they haven't been able.
Here's Mr. Clutch. Right now averaging 5 points a game. Harden against Kobe. Westbrook with the steal.
Well, credit the defense, but you've got to be more careful with the ball.
Now let's send it over to Doris Burke, who was able to talk with Scott Brooks.
Well, he said they can't afford to be too passive tonight offensively. He wants to see movement, activity, and energy at that end of the court. And if he gets it, he said he likes their chances, even if the shots aren't falling for them right away. Kevin?
Wonderful stuff, Doris. Thanks. The early game plan, Clark, centered around their offense. It sounds like.
Yeah, and I think that's fine as long as they don't sacrifice anything from an effort standpoint at the defensive end.
Yeah, exactly. And I like the strategy, guys, because when you get off to a good start offensively, you feel good about yourselves, and generally that energy carries over to the defensive end as well.
No luck, and it's the Lakers taking it the other way.
You know, James Harden, a smooth offensive player, got off to a tough start last season, but righted the ship by the start of 2011. Played some great basketball.
Outside Westbrook. Pass to Durant. Ibaka backs down. Post shot. Goes back up. And he lays it up and in. And that ties it up.
Well, he's a slippery guy. I mean, he knows exactly how to use angles to slip his way past the defender and get into outstanding rebounding position for the putback.
Ibaka against Gasol. Shot clock at 6. Stolen by Harden. Back to Westbrook. He feeds it to Durant. On the top of the key, and that one's good. Durant's got his first 2 points. And Harden, Clark, a gifted scorer. To start his career, he'd come off the bench for the Thunder. The Steve Cephalosha, the stopper in this starting unit.
Yeah, but I think long-term, eventually you're going to see Harden become the starter in Oklahoma City. He's a terrific scorer. He's also probably a better playmaker than anybody else on the team. So they're going to be able to run some offense through Harden. And as he expands and develops his game, he's got a chance to be an all-star.
Here's Ibaka, the monster one-hand slam.
Well, that's the way to corral that rebound and then go back up with force. Make them feel you.
Yeah, you know, Clark, the work he does on the offensive glass has always been so impressive.
Now, that might be where he's most valuable to this team.
Kobe guarded by Harden. Odom moving the ball well. And Kevin Martin, the bucket on the assist by Odom.
Gotta love the inside-out game there, guys.
Here's Westbrook. He picked up 18 points in their last win against the Spurs in San Antonio.
You know, for so long we've seen the Lakers coast into the playoffs, put themselves in a tight spot and then find a way out of it. But in that series versus Dallas in last season's playoffs, they really looked like a tired and overmatched team.
It's rebounded by Durant. The Thunder with the lead. Their last game, a win against San Antonio, looking to carry that into this one.
I thought offensively, a lot of what they were doing really worked. But, of course, they found some gaping holes in that defense.
Steve, they had a bunch of success on even the most basic plays they were running. I mean, that was some pretty poor defense there.
And for the Lakers, Kobe said, Clark, after that series, we've been playing with fire the last 3 years. Now we finally got what we deserve. Steve, that is a very interesting quote. Take it apart for us and delve into it.
Well, I think the Lakers had been to the finals for 3 straight years, and I think they were worn out emotionally. And for a couple of those playoff series over the years, they did play with fire and get away with it. Not last year. Dallas just destroyed them, and I think the Lakers just look tired, both physically and mentally.
Martin, he nails it, and we're tied up. Martin's got his second basket of the night.
He has so much offensive imagination. Always seems like he's ready to try something new.
Timeout is called. First of the game for the Thunder.
Well, you know, the Thunder have one heck of a home court advantage here in Oklahoma City. I mean, they don't call it Loud City for nothing.
Westbrook with it. Outside Durant. Here is Ibaka. Passes it to Westbrook. 5 to shoot. And the rebound goes to Pau Gasol. Gasol's got 4 rebounds in this game. Right for the Thunder last season, 30-11 on their home floor, but this crowd has been packing the building even when they had the 4th worst record in the NBA.
Well, Oklahoma City is a one-sport town, a one-team town, Kevin. The only major sports team there, and the fans so passionate there, and they're very fortunate to have a talented young club to follow and to support. And it's going to be very interesting to see how this team develops over the next few years. They've got a great home court advantage.
Outside Westbrook. Down low, Durant. And it's Martin picking him up. And it's Durant, that time on the assist by Westbrook. And the Thunder lead by 2. Now here's Kobe. He's coming off a 34-point game against the Grizzlies in Memphis. And here's Westbrook. Westbrook with the steal.
A bit of a wobbly start for him. Seems. Oh!
Now let's check out the Sprite Slam King.
Yes, indeedy. Boy, I love that one. That's not just any plain dunk. That has some panache to it.
It's an energizer, guys. That is an energizer.
That is, and that will lift the whole team up.
There's the double team with Westbrook. Some good ball movement here. Outside, Kobe. 6 on the shot clock.
So a couple of poor possessions now in a row consecutively. Both times turnover. That's not productive basketball. That's not winning basketball.
Now, Clark, you know, you start stringing errors back-to-back together, you lose all momentum in this game. Now, last time Mike Brown coached in the NBA was with the 2010 Cavaliers. LeBron James' last year with Cleveland. And Mike Brown had a pretty good record with the Cavs. Even won Coach of the Year in 2009. I like the shot, despite the miss. I mean, that's his range.
Outside Westbrook. There's the dish to Ibaka. Shoots from the post. Lakers trail by 6. Looking to end the run. And it's Kobe missing. There's a minute 34 left to play in the first. Getting back to Brown for just a second. Clark, a couple of 60-win teams under his watch. While in Cleveland, of course, LeBron James was there with him.
Yeah, exactly. And that poses...
Here is Robinson. He had a 12-point outing in their last game against the Spurs in San Antonio. Harden. Now Maynard. Releases from 15. Bryant with the rebound.
You know, this is a shot that we've seen him miss, but actually the coaches would like to see him not miss as many.
So with Gasol on the bench, this is the group Mike Brown has right now. Mr. Clutch, he's in at point guard. Artest is out there with Barnes. Then there's Kobe. And it's Brown in at the shooting guard position. That is good.
I'm sure they'd like to get more shots like that one.
Here is Robinson. Still looking to get on the scoreboard. The pass to Ibaka. Picked up by Artest. Ibaka with the ball. Here is Harden. 6 to shoot. Shoots over Kobe. Harden's shot is good. Harden's got his second basket of the night.
One of the things the Thunder can definitely be encouraged by from last season was the growth of James Harden.
Partner. Okay, thanks. Дошли.
I mean, started off the season slow. By the playoffs, he probably was their third best player.
Brown kicks to Artest. Here's Mr. Clutch, guarded by Robinson. Some solid defense from Robinson.
Well, going back to James Harden, you know, he's able to create his own shot. And I think what happened with Harden was after Jeff Green was traded to Boston, it opened up more of an offensive responsibility for him, and he took advantage. He really became kind of the pressure release, the third option after Durant and Westbrook. And I think he's poised to become a very good player in this league.
Backing down is Bryant. Shoots from 12. Serge Ibaka pulls it in.
Shot seems to be a little awry today, just off a fraction. They've got to have him pick it up, though, and soon. You know, when a pass is in the air that long, it gives the defender plenty of time to get to it.
The Thunder leading by 6. Outside Robinson. They're moving it around. Mr. Clutch gets called for the reach. That'll be his second foul of the game.
Now we'll see what happens here. You got to be aware that's your second foul. Question is, do you keep him on the floor or not?
Looking at who's out there now for the Thunder. Ozzie Muhammad's checked in for Aldridge. Durant comes in for Nate Robinson. And Russell Westbrook is subbed in for Eric Maynard. Muhammad passed to Harden. Picked up by Brown. Bunny shot off glass and in. Harden's got 8 points.
And they're going to need more possessions like that one to try to extend this lead.
And if they have possessions like that,
Thanks.
guys, they'll continue to add to their margin and keep that pace going brisk.
Odom against Ibaka. Ball's not loose.
I'm not sure what they're thinking offensively. Poor decision on that pass. That steal led to that easy transition basket.
You know, Steve, they've got those guys reeling a little bit right now.
So timeout called here, the first for Los Angeles.
Well, you know, a recent stat said that in the last 15 years, the Lakers are on average the best offense in the NBA. But in crunch time, ironically, they fall to around best offensively. Not nearly as effective.
Here we are in November. Let's see how things are shaking out in the West early in the season. Taking a look at Oklahoma City. They're sitting 8th right now in the early going. And, of course, the Los Angeles Lakers, a half game back.
You know, I think for Oklahoma City, they've not really done anything to distinguish themselves this year. I mean, they haven't been terrible, but they haven't been very good either.
And this is kind of the worst place to be in the NBA, Clark, just in the middle of the road. I mean, you're not good, you're not bad, you're just sort of mediocre. So this team, I think, has to make some changes.
Going back to the Lakers and their letdown as far as crunch time offense goes. Good point by you. Steve, you take it now. Why do you think that's so?
Well, I think Kobe's not the player that he once was, Kevin. I mean, he's not as athletic. He's not as capable as he used to be getting shots off against any type of defense. And I think the rest of the guys maybe lost a little confidence in themselves as a result.
Simply said, it's going to take a much better effort than that, son, on a shooter like him.
Guarded by Odom. The kick out to Westbrook. Tries to keep it alive. Out of bounds. And they'll keep possession. Now let's take a look at the list of players who have been absolutely lighting it up. These are the NBA scoring leaders over the last 10 games. And you look at Durant, leading the league in points per game. Such a great player.
Kevin, you know, the season is 82 games long, and anything can happen. But I tell you what, if he keeps scoring like this, the rest of the season is going to look very good for his ball club.
Back to Gasol. Right side Gasol. The Thunder pull it in and playing the Lakers here for the second time.
And last time they met, they came up empty, and I thought foul trouble was a major factor that night. They've got to avoid a repeat of that tonight. Tell you what, they just cannot miss out there.
And the defense looks shell-shocked. I mean, they've been powerless to slow them down. No effect at all.
Brown guarded by Hardwood. Odom backing down. Moving it around nicely. Stolen by Durant.
Unnecessary pass there. He's got to make a better decision.
Stuffs it through.
Gotta love the execution out there, and it's going to be very tough to beat them if they continue to play like this.
Still a lot of time left, but I agree with you, Steven.
And through the first half, a pretty lopsided affair. More great action when we return.
It's Wednesday night. I hope you're having a good one. Time now for the HP Halftime Show. Oklahoma City up on top against the Lakers. A win tonight would be just what they've needed. Out at Time Warner Cable Arena.
We're getting back.
Now into the lineup for your Thunder.
Here's Gasol. 5 points in the game. Odom dishes to Kobe. Down low. He's covered by Westbrook. Kicks it to Kobe. Here's Mr. Clutch from downtown. Offensive rebound. Second shot opportunity. And the first one at the line is good.
You know, when Lamar Odom came into the league, a lot of people thought he could be a franchise player. He never really became that type of guy, but he's the perfect wingman for Kobe Bryant and Pau Gasol. Kind of a Scottie Pippen type floor leader, ball distributor, and an excellent all-around player.
The Thunder leading by 11. Durant is out there with Ibaka. Then there's Russell Westbrook. Then it's Nate Robinson, and it's Harden in at the small forward. That's the lineup in the game for Oklahoma City. That's blocked. Now Gasol, averaging 14 points a game. So the whistle blows on the shot and 2 free throws for the contact right there. Here's a look at the schedule for the Los Angeles Lakers. They host the Kings after this game. That game marks the first half of a quick 2-game homestand. Steve just talked about Odom as a wingman. It seems to be the role,
which I think helps him and his team because he can be a little streaky in that regard. But the role he has as being a basketball player with versatility that can do a lot of things, that's what he's best suited for.
Well, Oklahoma City is a team that has gotten better and better in the last few years. And they continue to get better against the Western Conference, to a 5-game improvement in their record versus the West a year ago from the season before.
On the wing, Harden, guarded by Odom. 4 on the shot clock. Shot denied.
Just 1 of 4 now to start this third quarter.
Lakers trail by 9. From deep. Thunder with the rebound. Durant's got 3 rebounds so far in the game. And the Thunder tougher against the West. We talked about that 5-game improvement. But they match up well, it seems, Clark, with just about anybody in the Western Conference. And I'll even throw the East in there, too.
Yeah, no question. I mean, I like this team's versatility. When you look at the Thunder, they've got a lot of things. I mean, they've got size, strength, athleticism. And you need those ingredients if you're going to be a contender. And you have to be able to win different ways. And Oklahoma City, the kind of team that's growing into that. A well-rounded roster. They're young, so as they get more seasoning, they're going to be a really difficult team to handle for a long time.
Guarded by Kobe. Shoots from the baseline. And Serge Ibaka, the bucket on the assist by Durant. Ibaka's got his 3rd basket of the night right there. Lakers trail by 11. Guys, a potent offense right now.
Yeah, Kevin, really the offense is flowing quite nicely right now.
Playing with a lot of confidence, just some self-assurance. I like what we're seeing.
Outside Westbrook. For the Thunder, Muhammad comes in for Nate Robinson. And it's Maynard in for Russell Westbrook. The Lakers also changing it up. Carricker comes in for Pau Gasol. And it's Martin in for Kobe. Here's Maynard. From deep, Harden. They get it again. Mohammed bounces high off the rim and drops. He's got 9.
He's put on an offensive clinic. They've got to deny him the ball.
Yeah, and if that fails, then double him, Steve. I mean, they can't allow him to continue to hurt him like this.
Odom kicks to Carricker. Ibaka against Odom. 3 on the clock. The 3. The rebound by Harden. Harden's got 3 rebounds so far in the game. Now Maynard. Back to Harden. Outside Durant. From outside, off the mark. Lakers trail by 13. Here's Mr. Clutch. It's Brown on the wing, guarded by Harden. Odom kicks to Martin. Guarded now by Durant. With the clock winding down, and again, no good by the Lakers. The Thunder leading by 13.
Scott Brooks enjoyed a long career in the NBA before becoming a coach, playing point for a lot of teams over the course of 11 seasons in the league.
He goes up. The basket good off the assist from Maynard. 24 points for Kevin Durant.
Boy, he's been so cool out there, composed, never rattled. I mean, a very steady contributor to the offense.
And there before you are the teams that have been absolutely red hot for the last 10 games. Second, the Thunder.
It's due to better shot selection lately, Kevin. They're taking their time to make sure the shots they take go in. Really good self-discipline there.
Well, back to Brooks. Even won a title, Steve, with the 94 Rockets.
Yeah, he was a tough player. One of those guys who'd pick you up full court, 94 feet, defend and scrap and claw for everything. And not really surprising to me that he eventually became a coach.
Timeout called the Lakers.
You know, fellas, this Oklahoma City team is built the right way. I mean, been done with patience through the draft. I mean, you got to have some good fortune there when you're talking about the draft. The money's been spent wisely. And now I think they're starting to approach the finished product, a team capable of winning NBA titles for years to come. Certainly they'll be contending for them, you would think.
Sure. Trying to get back on track, and he hits the jumper for 2. 6 points for him. The Thunder leading by 13. Now Maynard. Back to Durant. Yes, and a nice assist from Maynard. Durant's got 6 here in this quarter. And for the Thunder, they've been a team that has preached defense first. And with the addition of Kendrick Perkins, that certainly adds now to a big, athletic, and physical, tough team up front. And really from top to bottom, Steve.
Yeah, and they've got a nice bench, too, Kevin. There's not a whole lot lacking on this roster. But what they have to do is improve from within. Last year, I thought they were exposed in the playoffs. They didn't get great shots. They didn't look fluid offensively. Those are areas that they can improve upon.
Harden the pass to Muhammad. Here's Harden on the wing. 8 points for him. He dishes it to Maynard. Oklahoma City needs to get off a shot from about 19 feet. And Oklahoma City again with the bucket.
Impressive play there. They have been really good offensively.
Piling up the points and roots of this big lead, guys. I mean, they've been unstoppable.
Odom dishes to Martin. Shoots it up. It's rebounded by Oklahoma City.
Well, you know, last year Martin came close to setting a record by nearly leading the league in threes made and free throws made. Kevin Martin, I'm speaking of. That would have been quite a feat.
The open look. Harden's shot is good. Harden's got 10. Lakers trailed by 9. Back to that record of Kevin Martin's. Yeah, he came very close to it. You know, Steve, those are things you excelled in. Free throws. 3-point shots made.
Well, I could make free throws. I just couldn't get to the line, Kevin. But Kevin Martin, this is a guy who can create contact with the best of them. Gets to the line so often. And combined with those 3-pointers that he can make, this is a versatile offensive player.
The Thunder leading by 19
Check
points.
out the Bango Pet Cafe to play with me.
Here's Maynard. Here's Muhammad. Yes, and a nice assist from Maynard. Maynard's got 4 assists now tonight.
I can tell you for sure they didn't want this. I actually can guarantee it. They're getting pounded, brutalized inside.
Now, it wouldn't be so bad if they were getting the same looks on the other end, but that's just not the case.
Here's Mr. Clutch. He's got 6. Stolen by Harden.
Great job playing the passing lanes and forcing that turnover. Just pouring it on and adding to this big lead.
Steve, they're playing outstanding
Yeah,
basketball,
man.
and they've been doing it all game at both ends.
Back to Martin.
But we are 61 overall, you know,
Guarded now by Durant. Here's
and we
Mr.
are playing
Clutch.
in Hall of Fame.
Feeds it to Brown. Martin against Durant.
So we are
Shot to
going to
stop the
bleed
run.
for a
Martin
bit.
with the bucket. Martin's got 9.
You look at their scoring. Mid-range jumpers account for 6 of their last 10 points.
Well, defensively, they're doing a nice job of keeping them out of the paint, but you got to give them credit. They're knocking down shots.
And the jam by Kevin Durant.
You know, that's something he's capable of every trip down.
And it's just impossible to get tired of.
Yeah, there's always this excitement, this aura that surrounds him, guys, and the crowd senses it.
That was the Sprite Slam Cam moments ago. Highlight real action right here. And good on the basket. Book it.
I think he's done his part to try to keep him in this game. It's been a solid effort from him, guys.
The Thunder leading by 20. Mr. Clutch hits the reach-in call. That will get him his 4th foul
Give
of
me
the
that
game.
ball, man.
Both teams will make substitutions. Lakers on D. Dishes it to Westbrook. Outside Durant. Lock at 6. That's good, and so Westbrook comes up with the assist. And that's now 33 points for Kevin Durant.
He's done an outstanding job all game long. Absolutely a great job of finding an opening against the defense.
And the rejection
Oh
by
my
Ibaka.
God.
And
What
here
are
are
we
the Thunder
doing,
now.
Gabriel?
Kobe against Westbrook. Fires from deep. Gets it to go.
Now, the offensive efficiency has been really important. I think that's been the difference.
Well, you know, I think it's pretty simplistic, but it does oftentimes come down to this.
Come on,
making
Kobe.
shots. and that's what they've done.
And as we conclude the third quarter, pretty much a blowout. It's been a one-sided affair. What a game we're seeing from Kevin Durant.
Now, it's been nothing but positive for this team. The way he's been really selective with his shot making, he's been very unselfish. I think this has been an efficient performance for him.
I agree with you, Steve. Very few questionable decisions.
So as we get rolling here in the fourth, let's go to our sideline reporter. Here's Mr. Clutch. Robinson picks him up. Now the feed to Barnes.
Well, it was an open question to start last season whether the older elite teams could stay on top, and during the regular season, they seem to do pretty well. The Spurs, Lakers, Mavs, the Celtics all ranked in the top three in their respective conferences, but the big picture started to become a little less rosy once we got the playoffs going.
Looking at who's out there now for the Thunder. Aldridge comes in for Serge Ibaka, and Nick Collison subbed in for Kevin Durant. The Lakers also changing it up. Gasol comes in for Matt Barnes. And Kobe is subbed in for Steve Blake. Taking a look at the Lakers. Artest and Odom in at the forward slots. Then there's Kobe. Then it's Pau Gasol. Here is Cook. Now here is Robinson. From the arc. Cook, good. Clark, you're right. Going back to those veteran teams last season, the Spurs knocked out in the first round. Celtics and Lakers beaten convincingly in the second round, Steve. Major statements made in both conferences.
Yeah, it seems like last year was almost a changing of the guard type season in the NBA, Kevin. You had the older teams, as you mentioned, like the Celtics and Lakers and Spurs, going out relatively early in the playoffs, and then some of the younger groups, whether it was Oklahoma City or Chicago or Miami, really coming to the forefront. And I think over the next decade, we're definitely looking at a brand new kind of regime change in the NBA.
Kevin Martin is checked in for the Lakers.
That was interesting. Once again, late last season for the Lakers, they slumped to close out the regular season. And it seems to be a pattern. It's almost like they get bored before they actually get into the postseason.
Here is Robinson. Stolen away. All alone.
Foul,
Misses.
man, foul.
And the Thunder go the other way. And, Steve, for the Lakers, Lamar Odom said himself their sluggish finishes in the second half were partly born of overconfidence, of ego. I don't know much credence you put in that, Clark. What do you think?
You know what? I think there is a tendency, a human tendency, to become complacent, to become full, and you can lose some of your edge. I don't think it's a lack of humility and respect. I think it's just the nature of being somewhat satisfied. And when you're in this league, because people are coming after you a lot harder when you've got what they want in terms of championships, and especially as you age, I think it gets harder sometimes to fight off that resistance and to flip the switch if you find yourself in a little bit of a rut.
Outside, Kobe. Backing down. Just 5 to shoot. Odom, guarded by Robinson. The shot by Odom, no good.
A humongous lead for them here. I mean, they've really done a good job of controlling the flow of the game.
Yeah, and I think it's the rebounding they have to thank for that, Clark.
So no problem for Oklahoma City.
Minus points. Well, before I come to Los Angeles, they had 4 wins, 6 losses.
From a game with the final score as lopsided as this one?
So, let's see.
I'm sure there is. There's a silver lining in there somewhere, and guess what? It's on Coach to find it. It's all him on this one. In fact, I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings to us at practice tomorrow. I know he'll have something to say. There's all sorts of things we need to work on, but he always has something positive to point out, too. I'll let you guys know once I figure out what that is, because right now, I have no idea.
The worst answer. Okay. It's really hard at 2K12 to play in Hall of Fame. Difficult in the beginning. We have 0 points.
Greetings from Los Angeles, everyone. The Lakers have a Western Conference contest on their hands as they play this one here at the Staples Center. Looking forward to the weekend. Great to have you with us here on 2K Sports. This is Kevin Harlan with Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg. Glad to bring you the NBA. Take a look at the Kings. After dropping the first 3 games of the season, they need to turn it around.
Now, they're probably not too thrilled with having to face this team again because they haven't been able to beat them once this season. So maybe tonight's their night. We'll see.
Well, they got to forget about that. Whatever they do, guys, they cannot come in with a negative attitude. I mean, they can't think about what's happened in the past in the season series up to this point. They've got to focus on the here and now. This is a chance for redemption, and they've got to look at it as a great opportunity to turn the tide.
Now Sacramento starting 5. Salmon's out there with Davis. Then there's DeMarcus Cousins, and there's Hickson, and it's Garcia in at the 3. And for the Lakers, Odom at the 4 and Powell at the 5. Round out there with Kobe, and it's Martin in at the 3 spot, and Davis puts it in.
Now, good way to get things started here.
Steve, always nice to get the first points up on the board. At least I felt that way. You know, guys, the biggest story with the Kings actually happened in the offseason. Many thought they would move down south, but found a way to stay in Sacramento, at least temporarily.
Brown cans the shot from the wing.
Tell you what, it's a huge plus to have him making shots like that.
On defense, the Lakers. They come into this one following a loss to the Thunder.
I thought they'd come out a little sharper in the second half, but it really didn't happen. I mean, they started...
Here's Kobe. He had an 18-point outing in their last game against Oklahoma City. Here's Mr. Clutch.
Come on, man. You are alone.
What a big victory for the city of Sacramento, who just love their Kings.
Yeah.
The attendance has been down a little bit, Steve, but you know, that could build up. We got a couple nice young players on that ball club, and maybe there's better times ahead.
Well, you hope so, because this is one of the great fan bases in the NBA. The Sacramento fans so loyal to their team. It would be great to see them stick around Sacramento and to build another exciting playoff caliber team.
Left side, Kobe. Over Garcia, and Kobe the bucket with the assist by Odom. Kobe's got his first bucket of the night. And here are the Kings now. This game coming after a loss against the Jazz.
I thought they forced a lot of shots offensively, guys. They just didn't seem organized or efficient at that end of the floor. That's why they got so stagnant and shot such a poor percentage.
Couldn't agree more. Disorganized would be a word. Dysfunctional. I mean, way too many times they're going one-on-one or running the shot clock all the way down and then having to jack some crazy shot up. That was the problem, just not organized.
Back to Salmons. Dishes to Hickson. Good ball movement. Uncovered. They get it again. Cousins inside. Defended by Gasol. Now here's Cousins. He had a 15-point outing in their last game against Utah. Out of bounds. And they'll keep possession. Here we are in November. Let's see how things are shaking out in the West early in the season. Look at the Lakers. They've had a very slow start to the season so far, down in the bottom half of the conference. And, of course, the Sacramento Kings, a half game back.
Well, right now for the Kings, they've just got to learn a few lessons from what they're going through this year. I mean, to use that experience to make sure that they grow from it.
Well, you always want to be getting better, Clark. So I like what you're talking about. I mean, sometimes you can learn from adversity, learn from your mistakes. That's what this club has to do from here on out.
Here's Kobe, averaging 19 points per contest. Deflected by Davis. The Kings leading. This is the second time they've matched up against Los Angeles.
Yeah, I think the result might have been different in that game if it wasn't for the foul trouble. But in the end, in crunch time, their rotation was altered, and that was really the difference.
6 on the shot clock. Launches it. And another three
come
for
on.
Sacramento.
What a fantastic performance from long range.
Well, that's been his territory all game, Steve.
Going back to what Steve just said, it was sort of a makeshift lineup for them at the end of their previous loss to this team.
Well, I remember what a tightly called game that was, Kevin, and they didn't play as smart as they needed to. I mean, you got to be physical out there and aggressive, but you also have to use your noggin, and they ended up with a lot of players on the bench because they just didn't play smart.
And the basket by Kobe.
I tell you what, right now, that mid-range jumper serving them well.
Yes, it is, guys. That's 6 of their last 10 points coming from that mid-range area.
So the Kings called timeout. They're first.
Fellas, when you look at the Lakers last season in the Pacific Division, they were 12-4. Pretty much the story. 3-1 against the Warriors, the Clippers, Sacramento, and even again.
Here's Kobe. And a moment now to reset the lineups, courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up for the second quarter of basketball. On the floor for Sacramento, we've got Salmons. Hickson is out there with DeMarcus Cousins. Then there's Ramon Sessions, and it's Davis in at the 1. But one of the things when talking about the Lakers also, they won against those teams, whether at home or on the road.
Well, they just dominated the Pacific Division, and they should have, guys, because that was one of the weaker divisions in the NBA. Phoenix was down, Golden State and Sacramento, the Clippers all down as well. So the Lakers should dominate that division.
Here's Sessions. Looking for his first bucket of the game. Feeds it to Davis. Sessions with it. Backing down his Cousins. Over Gasol. Connects from 13 feet out. And the Kings lead by 2.
Smart. Use that big height advantage. Get the shot off.
Well, it's hard to put a big man on him, Steve, that far from the hoop. I mean, he's versatile.
Here's Mr. Clutch. Clock at 6. Left side Gasol. Guarded now by DeMarcus Cousins. No good from the wing.
I thought Gasol got off to such a fast start last season, but he might have worn down as the season went on. He was asked to play big minutes, especially early when Andrew Bynum was out with the injury.
To the inside. Jams it with authority.
You know, you get better elevation with the one-hand dunk, and it's the most basic of all. Keep it simple.
And probably the most reliable.
Yeah, hard to mess that one up.
Now Salmons. He has 7. He feeds it to Hickson. He passes to Sessions. Guarded now by Lamar Odom. And he stepped in the line, so they turn it over. Then, of course, for Paul Gasol in the playoffs, a lot of disappointment with his play, Clark. A game, in fact, or two where he even got booed at the Staples Center.
Yeah, you never like to see that, but he clearly did struggle in the playoffs, and he's extremely gifted, but some have tended to try to question his mental toughness or killer instinct, and I quite honestly think it's unfair. He's got a disposition and demeanor that lends itself to that kind of criticism, but anytime you can perform the way he has, that's impressive. And it actually helps him, the fact that he's got a deferring type of personality, to be an ideal number 2 guy for the Lakers, with Kobe Bryant being the obvious lead dog there. So it's a good fit, I think.
That's interesting.
All right, that was your Lakers, girl. Make some noise, fans.
Here is Sessions, still looking to get on the scoreboard. Puts up the baby hook. That's good. And the Kings lead by 2.
Excellent execution of the plan there.
Well, it's interesting. Once again, late last season for the Lakers, they slumped to close out the regular season, and it seems to be a pattern. You know, it's almost like they get bored before they actually get into the postseason.
And stolen by Cousins.
Unnecessary pass there. He's
Come
got to make a
on.
better decision. The
What
only
is
question
that?
there was who was going to finish it. Easy, fast break.
Yeah, you know what? And I think they made the right call there, Steve.
And, you know, Steve, for the Lakers, Lamar Odom said himself their sluggish finishes in the second half were partly born of overconfidence, of ego. I don't know much credence you put in that, Clark. What do you think?
You know what? I think there is a tendency, a human tendency, to become complacent, to become full, and you can lose some of your edge. I don't think it's a lack of humility and respect. I think it's just the nature of being
I think I'm
somewhat
going to
satisfied.
create a center.
And when you're in this league, because people are coming after you a lot harder when you've got what they want in terms of championships, and especially as you age, I think it gets harder sometimes to fight off that resistance and to flip the switch if you find yourself in a little bit of a rut.
And in he goes for the easy 2. It's a close game here in Los Angeles. Now here is Davis. Tight defense on him. Cousins. Defended by Gasol. Cousins dishes to Sessions. He couldn't stay in bounds, and that's going to be a turnover. Here's a look at the schedule for the Los Angeles Lakers. And after this one, they're home against Minnesota. And that game is the second of 2 straight at home. Francisco Garcia, he's checked in for Sacramento. Here's Mr. Clutch. Makes the alley-oop pass. Stolen away as they knock away the alley-oop attempt.
Boy, a lot of darkness there. No daylight to get that ball through.
Here comes Kobe. 10 points for him. There's the dish to Gasol. Cousins is there. Jumps up. Can't tie it up as that one misses. The Kings leading. They'll be at home for the next game against the Bobcats. And that's the first game in a string of 3 straight at home. Salmons against Brown. Salmons passes to Cousins. Back to Salmons. Just 5 on the clock. Poked away. Puts up a 3 with the clock winding down.
Well, he took that one to the rack with some purpose.
I'll say beautiful dunk there, Steve.
Yeah, how about the agility? Just the power and the skill. Impressive.
Nice to meet you. I'm Picky.
Here's Mr. Clutch. Fires from the wing. It's hauled in by the Kings. Hickson's got his 5th rebound in this one. And here is Salmons. He's got 9. The leaner inside. Over Bryant. Second shot opportunity. And Gasol sends it back. Hickson with the bucket.
Well, they haven't been getting lit up from outside here. All the points they're giving up are from in close. They've got to offer more resistance.
Yeah, defense has to get better, Clark. They've got to body up, bump somebody, get physical, force the action back out to the perimeter.
Here's Garcia. That's in there. Davis with the assist. Davis has got 3 assists tonight. So timeout called here, the first for Los Angeles.
You know, from their 2010-2011 campaign, not too many bright spots for the Kings. They hustled on offense, actually ended up second in the league in offensive rebound.
And the Lakers making a change here. Martin's checked in. Here's Mr. Clutch. And here now the Kings. They're on a 14-6 run. And Garcia kicks to Cousins. And again, it's Sacramento converting. Steve, what do you think of the front line of the Kings? It seems like a lot of workhorses up there.
Yeah, 4 guys last year getting almost 2 offensive rebounds a game. So this is a club that really is athletic and strong on that front line. And they were at their best when they were really pounding the offensive glass.
Lakers trail by 10. Kobe dishes to Martin.
So a couple of poor possessions now in a row, consecutive. Both times turnover. That's not productive basketball. That's not winning basketball.
No, Clark, you know, you start stringing errors back-to-back together, you lose all momentum in this game.
I'm lagging and I don't know
So the
why,
whistle
man.
blows on the shot.
Why the game is lagging so much all the time.
2 free throws for the contact right there.
You know, I think a lot of pressure was on J.J. Hickson, the young forward for the Kings, after the departure of LeBron James, and he had mixed results, but this guy has tremendous potential going forward.
Sessions checked in for Baron Davis. And
I'm lagging a lot all the time. I don't know why. I have to open again the game.